Hi there, and welcome to Busternet. On today's show, I'm going to take a unique look at playmakers and I'm going to break them down into three distinct groups: metronomes, wide playmakers, and attacking playmakers. Andrea Pirlo is probably the original register. He's a legend in Italian football. He can play with his left foot, his right foot. You just can't describe how he plays. He assesses the field like a general and picks out the perfect pass for players in front of him even before the ball has even reached him. So this, even though he's 36 years old, many regard him to be one of the greatest playmakers of this generation of Italian footballers. A metronome is a player that dictates tempo. He can slow a game down or he can turn it up. He is the general, he is the architect. He sits deep or he can play in the middle. He can actually push up as a register or he can be playing behind the strikers as an engash. Now, the the most important attribute from a deep line playmaker or any kind of a playmaker who has to operate under pressure is composure. He needs passing, he needs decisions, he needs vision, he needs composure. These are almost mandatory, including first touch, because they are usually taking the ball under pressure and they have to release the ball. And if they're going to come under pressure, they need to do it quickly. First touch becomes very important then. There are several kinds of deep line playmakers. Now, if you want a playmaker to also defend aggressively, then you will need him to have good work rate and tackling. However, you can also have playmakers that don't do much by way of tackling, but they are the ones that look out for killer passes and they try to make those killer passes. Andrea Pirlo was a player who was not known for his stamina or his strength or even his acceleration. He had no tackling to speak of, so they put him in a deeper position where he had more time on the ball. So your playmakers who are going to be architects, they need a screen around them. They need players who can win the ball and lay it off to them so that they have time and space to find the pass. In my Torino system, I have a 4-3-1-2 which uses two playmakers. The deep line playmaker who acts as the metronome is supported by two ball winning midfielders. They are a screen, so they do most of the defensive work. Baselli will always drop deep, recycle possession, and occasionally, if the need presents itself, he will play the killer pass from deep. Now, in this little snippet I have here, you will see Baselli is sitting right in front of the two central defenders. He picks up the ball here, recycles possession back to Danilo Evela, picks the ball up again, plays it back. Here is the advanced playmaker looking to make passes to players who are in position. The advanced playmaker in this particular case, what he does here is he acts like a decoy. He drags players around, pulls them out from their position, making room for other players to attack. And then Baselli picks up the ball again and plays a killer ball straight for Paragini, who goes on to score. So you can use playmakers together. There is no priority system in the game that says a certain playmaker is going to make the pass first or playmakers take a certain priority. That does not exist. Playmakers in the game work together, so you need to set the right kind of system up so that you can deploy two or three in one game. Another example of a deep line playmaker or a metronome is Tony Cruz. He shares the similar traits with other playmakers. Now, he has passing, he has decisions, he has composure, he has first touch. Now, what he does not have is very interesting. He does not have determination. This is a different kind of a playmaker. This is a playmaker who might disappear when you're a goal down. So, whenever you're looking at your playmakers, you need to look at the mental attributes because the mental attributes will tell you a very important story. In the case of Tony Cruz, he's got everything going for him in the technical department. He's got some very good mentals, but that determination, that low amount of determination that he has, could make him disappear in matches where you desperately need your side to win. It's now time for us to take a look at an up and coming young player who turns out for Barcelona. His name is Sergi Samper. Let's see how his attributes line up and what the future might hold for him. The 21-year-old Spanish has got very good passing technique, first touch. His mentals look very, very good. The one area that he needs to work on will probably be work rate. Now, it doesn't mean that he is bad. He is young and work rate can improve with training. Um, his bravery and his work rate may suggest he may be a poor player, but no, hang on a minute. Andre Pirlo also had lower crate and bravery. However, when you play these kind of players, you got to consider them and the way they play. And you have to fit this into your system. Andre Pirlo played well because he always had an effective screen around him, players who did all the grunt work. So when you use a youngster like Sergi Samper, or you want to develop play around a deep line playmaker who doesn't have high work rate or no bravery, you know you can't depend on him to do tackling. So all he does is he looks for passes. So when you play him, make sure that he's surrounded by players who know what they're doing in terms of winning the ball. Make sure that your playmakers have good first touch and composure. They're always going to be dragging players around. They also need a good dose of off the ball because they'll always try and get into forward positions to support the attack. And by virtue of the fact that they can drag players around, this opens up play wherever they are playing. And if they get the chance with the off the ball running, they are able to attack the box. Here, Valdi Fiori is playing as the deep line playmaker. Notice when De Silvestri gets the ball, notice where De Paul is. He's number 15. He is actually hanging between the players and looking to run between the channels. He gets his opportunity here. He's quite free. Valdi Fiori, the deep line playmaker, sees Poli. Paragini, the forward, plays it to the attacking playmaker, and the playmaker goes in to finish. Using playmakers in your system allows you to create space for other players, but they need to be used intelligently. Pick the right player for the right role, and you will frequently be able to unlock sides who are otherwise sitting deep and making it very hard for you. Now, Kevin De Bruyne, who turns out for Manchester City, is one of those playmakers that's unique. He sits on the flanks. You can also use playmakers down the flanks, and I use these kind of playmakers all the time in my 4-3-3 systems, and I sit them on the flanks because they act as magnets, they bring players to them. Here, once again, if you look at his attributes, you'll notice he's got a good dose of first touch, decisions, off the ball running. He's great with passing. He's got decent agility and balance and decent pace. They don't need to be very, very fast, but they certainly need vision and work rate. If you want to use them in an attacking duty, they should have crossing as well and dribbling. But you can also use them in a support duty without crossing and dribbling. I have a attacking playmaker in my side. I use him on support simply because these guys are just fantastic magnets. They just drag players to them. They're just sitting there going, hey, look at me. I'm going to unlock your side. So they stand there, they attract the defenders to them. If they have good first touch, composure, they can hold the ball, then they are going to create space for other players simply by opening channels up between the half spaces. If you don't know what half spaces are, you should watch the video I did called Exploiting the Golden Zone, and I use my playmakers a lot to unlock them. We are now playing a 4-2-3-1 system, and my playmaker is playing in this number 15 slot. Notice what he does. When he gets the ball, Benazi passes him the ball. There's nobody around him at this point, but when he gets the ball, he attracts one player to him first. He touches it, three more players come around him. He plays it to Vitor Bueno, and then he moves to the left and he drags a few more players around him, opening up the whole area here. Notice what has just happened. This happens when you're using an attacking playmakers. Attacking playmakers, if they have the first touch, if they have composure and they can control the ball, and even if you're playing them on the flanks, they can do this kind of movement. And they unlock and they open it up and you get the golden zone unlocked. When people talk about unlocking golden zones, it's the half channels. We want to drag players into these zones over here. These are all the half channels. This is a half channel. This is a half channel. These are the zones that we want to pull the players to. So in this particular case, using an attacking playmaker can be a smart thing if you have the system set up for it. So I like to use them in my 4-2-3-1s, in my 4-3-3s. I can use them on the flanks and use them to unlock sides playing wide. In this particular case, De Paul isn't as good as Kevin De Bruyne. De Bruyne is a tackler. He might be on an attack duty. But here, De Paul is on a support duty, and I do expect him to come back and defend as well. So that's the beauty of having a playmaker. Another playmaker who's absolutely devastating, whether he's playing in the middle or on the flanks, is Alexis Sanchez, who turns out for Arsenal, but I don't think he'll be there very long. He has all the hallmarks of an attacking playmaker. He's got fantastic acceleration, phenomenal agility and balance, great pace. He's got absolutely beautiful off the ball running, determination of 19, composure of 14, first touch of his first touch might let him down once in a while. That's 14. But he makes it up for his dribbling, his finishing. He can attack the box, he can go wide, he can drop in across. This player has got fantastic vision and he's got a very good work ethos. So you can actually use him in the same match on a support duty or an attack duty if you want to change the emphasis of the game. Now, I would love to have Alexis Sanchez in any one of my teams, and he would give me a lot of options going up and coming down. His all-round ability plus his fantastic vision, determination, first touch, finishing, make him an asset. The next player, Riyad Mahrez. Is he worth the hype from last season? I don't think so. I don't think he's in the same category as the great playmakers, and when Arsenal wanted to buy him, almost fell over laughing. Because in spite of everything else, he may have all the right attributes that suggest he's a good playmaker, like passing vision, even off the ball, crossing and finishing. Yeah, okay. We got all that. But what happens when Riyad Mahrez is under pressure? He might lose the ball. He has low strength. He may have composure, um, but he has no decisions. He can't make decisions. He's got 10 for decision making. That's like below average for the Premier League. On top of that, he's got low teamwork. Now, it's a combination that gives us a lot of cause for concern about Riyad Mahrez. He might disappear in some games and reappear in other games, which is actually what's happening to him in real life. And I would not put him in the same category as the really good playmakers. This is one example of a playmaker that you have to study really carefully. If I had a low budget and he was worth like 6 million, 5 million, I might bring him to the side. But still again, once again, would I play him as a playmaker because of his low decisions? I don't think so. He's not one of those players I would want being a playmaker. Now we're going to take a look at another player who's going to act as a foil to Riyad Mahrez. His name Andrea Iniesta, a fantastic playmaker. He can play in a variety of playmaking positions, deep lying, roaming, advanced playmaker, you name it, he has it. So what's the difference between him and Riyad Mahrez? Well, he may have the same problem Riyad has, which is it's easy to push him off the ball because we've seen Iniesta in real physical matches. Sometimes he goes missing. However, there's something that he has that Mahrez does not have. He has the ability to make the right decision at the right time. With his incredible first touch and his passing and his vision and his anticipation and composure, he can act. He might be one of those players. If he's under pressure, just like Andrea Pirlo, he will know exactly when to lay the pass off to somebody else, and he might be in the right position at the right time to give it to somebody else. He's got great off the ball, so he's always moving around. Furthermore, he's always working in a team. He's always thinking about the other player beside him instead of thinking about himself. This makes Andre Iniesta the perfect example of a player who is unlike Riyad Mahrez and somebody that you want to groom your younger playmakers to turn into. And even at the ripe old age of 32, he's a better buy than Riyad Mahrez anytime. So even if I wanted to bring him in, if I had a chance to bring him into my Gloucester City side, my Torino side, or any other side for that matter, I'd still take him if he was 34 years old. Because he is an example of a great playmaker. And then we have Philippe Coutinho. I'm a Liverpool fan, so we have to include him. Yeah, I can hear all those people just cheering me right now. Uh, this is a pretty decent playmaker. He's young, he's got a lot of growth in him. He has dribbling, he's got passing, first touch, composure, determination, flair, decisions, vision, and work rate. Why would I play him as anything else than an attacking playmaker who's going to be playing on my left on an attack duty? Because he also has cuts inside from left wing. He has plays 1-2. Now, this is one of those playmakers when it comes to their PPMs. You want to keep them, if you want those playmakers cutting it from a wing and attacking the box, then have these two PPMs there. Plays one, two, cuts in from the wing. He's going to knock it to one player, then cut inside the wing, dribble in, look for space. You'll drag people to him. He might lay off the pass to somebody else, and he has got long shots too, and he's got decent finishing. So these are the kinds of duties and PPMs you might want to think of when you have a player with these kind of attributes, which allow him to play in a role that is an advanced playmaker on attack duty. He can also do it on support. He can also be a round router. He can also be an inside forward. He's just an all-round dangerous player from the flanks. And finally, we have the mercurial Lionel Messi. He has all the hallmarks of one of the great playmakers that we'll ever see. He has the right attributes in the right places. Now, the thing here that we have to remember when we're looking at all our playmakers, that there's going to be some playmakers who have low work rates. Remember Eric Cantona? Well, Lionel Messi is just like Eric Cantona. These playmakers, they don't need to do a lot of work. They have incredible decisions. They have incredible determination. They have good off the ball. They have fantastic vision, passing, finishing, first touch. So, do they need to work very hard? They probably just need to know when to work very hard. And this is an example of one of those kind of players. So, if you got a kind of a player in your team, then yes, look at those right attributes and then slowly develop him. You don't have to toss out a player because he's got low work rate. But what you have to do is you have to look at his development and whether the right attributes are in the right places. Then if he's got very good decision making and he's got the very good vision, then he may not need high work rate. And this is an example, very good example of a player like that. Now, we are also now going to focus on something else. PPMs. Playmakers need certain PPMs. Attacking playmakers who are driving to the center will probably need tri-killer balls, comes deep to get ball, plays 1-2 and dictates tempo like Lionel Messi. Deep lying playmakers are probably you're gonna add things like likes to switch ball to other flanks, dictates tempo, comes deep to get ball, and tries killer balls. And then those playmakers playing from the flanks, you'll want them to cut inside from the wing, plays 1-2. You don't need them to dictate tempo though. So you having one of those two PPMs or maybe even likes to switch ball to other flank is a pretty damn good PPM to have for one guy who's playing on the left flank and you got a round out on the opposite. So the next time you want to use playmakers, remember that there are so many ways you can play a playmaker. They can dictate tempo from the center of the pitch. They can switch ball to the other flank, give you extra width. They can cut inside, dribble, and become ice skaters, or they can dribble down the flanks and drag players around. They're always going to be magnets. So the most important attributes, I've gone through them already. First touch, composure, vision, decisions. These are four of the most important attributes for any playmaker. Then you decide the rest of the attributes based on where they're playing. Are they playing on the flanks or in the middle? We've covered all this information on the playmakers and I hope you found it useful. If you have any more questions about how you can use playmakers in your game, please drop me a note on Twitter at BusterNet or at addicted2fm.com, my website. Once again, I'd like to thank all my patrons for making this video possible for everybody in the community. Thank you very much. Take care. Have a good one. Bye-bye.